They were the nerds who ruled prime time. Sheldon's quirks, Penny's sass, Howard's wardrobe disasters. We couldn't get enough. But what really happened after The Big Bang Theory went off the air? Turns out some of the cast made millions. Others vanished from the spotlight. And at least one took a turn nobody saw coming. From Emmy wins to secret breakups, side hustles, and shocking reinventions. This is where The Big Bang Theory stars are now. And trust me, it's nothing like you'd expect. Jim Parsons didn't just play Sheldon Cooper, he became one of the most iconic sitcom characters of all time. For 12 straight seasons, he made social awkwardness into comedy gold, racking up 4 Emmys and a Golden Globe along the way. But in 2019, right when the show was still riding high, Jim shocked everyone by walking away. Why? It wasn't drama, it wasn't money, Jim just felt done. After 279 episodes of Bazinga, he was ready for something new, and new is exactly what he chased. While fans were still quoting his catchphrases, Jim was already popping up in critically acclaimed films like Hidden Figures, where he swapped comic books for NASA blueprints. He went darker and extremely wicked, shockingly evil and vile, then turned heads in Ryan Murphy's Hollywood, showing off a side of himself viewers had never seen before. And if you thought Sheldon was glued to his spot, Jim was everywhere, even lending his voice to young Sheldon, keeping that legacy alive behind the scenes. But acting isn't his only talent. Jim has been killing it as a producer, backing shows and films that are bold, emotional, and nothing like The Big Bang. And in 2024, he made a huge return to the stage, earning raves on Broadway in Mother Play and Our Town. Turns out this Texas native isn't just a sitcom star, he's a serious force in American theater now. Off-screen, Jim's living a low-key happy life with his longtime partner turned husband, Todd Spiewak. The two tied the knot in 2017 after being together for 14 years, and their relationship? It's quieter than Sheldon's rants, but way more heartwarming. But Jim wasn't the only star who turned away from the spotlight. One of his closest co-stars made an even bigger pivot, straight into family life. Leonard was the lovable underdog, the guy who somehow balanced quantum physics and hopeless romanticism. But behind those glasses was Johnny Galecki, a seasoned actor who quietly became one of TV's highest paid stars. And yet, after The Big Bang Theory wrapped, Johnny didn't chase more fame. He did the exact opposite. During the show's run, Johnny dipped into big screen projects like Hancock alongside Will Smith and In Time with Justin Timberlake. But when Big Bang ended, he didn't rush into the next blockbuster. Instead, he returned to his roots, literally. In 2018, Johnny made a surprise comeback as David Healy on the Roseanne reboot, reuniting with co-star Sarah Gilbert and giving fans major 90s nostalgia. But outside of that, Johnny's mostly stepped back from Hollywood and focused on something much more personal, fatherhood. In 2019, he welcomed a son, Avery, with then-girlfriend Elena Meyer. Later, he and Morgan Galecki added a daughter to the family, Una Evelena, and unlike his on-screen counterpart who spent years chasing love, Johnny found happiness in a much quieter space, raising kids, staying off social media, and living far from the Hollywood chaos. No scandals, no headlines, no dramatic reinvention, just a steady life far from Leonard's awkward stairwell conversations. It's almost like he took a deep breath after the show and said, "Yeah, this is enough." But while Johnny eased into the background, his on-screen love interest took center stage and built a powerhouse career no one saw coming. Penny started as the girl next door, funny, fearless, and endlessly patient with 4 genius neighbors. But behind the sarcasm and Cheesecake Factory uniform, Kaley Cuoco was building a career that would explode once the final curtain dropped on The Big Bang Theory. Right after the show ended, Kaley made a power move. She launched her own production company, yes, Norman Productions, and didn't just act, she ran the show. Literally, her breakout post-Big Bang role, the lead in The Flight Attendant, a dark, twisty thriller that earned her Emmy nominations and made it clear, Kaley wasn't just a sitcom star anymore. She was a producer, boss, and headline act. She didn't stop there. She became the voice of Harley Quinn in the hit animated series, bringing a whole new kind of crazy charm to the iconic character. Then came back-to-back projects like Based on a True Story, Meet Cute, and Role Play, proving she could handle drama, comedy, action, and do it all without missing a beat. And her personal life? Let's just say it's had a few plot twists. After a quiet post-show breakup with co-star Johnny Galecki, Kaley went through a short-lived marriage, some public heartbreak, and then a surprising happy ending. She met Ozark actor Tom Pelphrey, and in 2023, the couple welcomed their daughter, Matilda Carmine Ritchie. A new mom, a production mogul, and a powerhouse performer, Kaley's post-Big Bang era isn't just a glow-up. It's a whole evolution. But while Kaley was lighting up the screen, another cast member took a different route, one that involved belt buckles, space travel, and the most unexpected musical collab yet. Howard Wolowitz was the guy with the tight pants, questionable pickup lines, and a voice that somehow screamed both mama's boy and wannabe ladies man. But Simon Helberg, he's a whole different story, one that's taken him from space station jokes to serious film prestige. Even while The Big Bang Theory was still airing, Simon was sneaking into some pretty elite projects. He held his own opposite Meryl Streep in Florence Foster Jenkins, a role that earned him critical praise and proved he had serious acting chops. Then came a bold turn in Annette, a surreal musical film where he starred alongside Adam Driver. Yup, musical. This wasn't Howard doing karaoke, it was Simon diving headfirst into art house cinema and holding nothing back. But he didn't abandon his comedic roots either. In Space Oddity and A Serious Man, with the Coen brothers no less, he continued to flex that incredible range. One moment quirky and dry, the next emotionally grounded. He's one of those rare actors who can vanish into a role without ever losing that spark fans first loved on TV. Behind the scenes, Simon's got something Howard always wanted, a perfectly balanced family life. He's been married to actress and director Jocelyn Towns since 2007, and the couple has 2 kids, Adeline and Wilder. While Howard took years to mature, Simon was always quietly one step ahead. And just when you think that's impressive, wait until you hear what Raj's real-life alter ego has been up to, including Glitter, Netflix, and one very unexpected rom-com twist. Raj was the sweet, space-loving romantic who couldn't talk to women without a drink in hand. Awkward, endearing, and always just one step away from heartbreak. But Kunal Nayyar, he turned all that charm into a global career that's anything but shy. While fans still remember Raj's struggles with love, Kunal's real life has been the opposite. He married former Miss India Neha Kapoor in 2011, and they've been a quiet power couple ever since. But off-screen romance wasn't the only place he leveled up. Kunal lent his voice to animated hits like Ice Age and Trolls, where he played the glitter-blasting Guy Diamond, stealing scenes with a sparkle, literally. Then he did a full 180, tackling dark and complex roles in shows like Criminal UK and Suspicion, where he held his own alongside Uma Thurman. If you only knew him as Raj, these performances will make you do a double take. He also wrote a memoir, Yes, My Accent is Real, filled with heart, humor, and his journey from New Delhi to Hollywood. Proof that behind the awkward screen persona was a deeply thoughtful, funny, and self-aware guy. And in 2024, he's still everywhere. He starred in Netflix's Spaceman, continued flexing his range in the teen rom-com How to Date Billy Walsh, and even popped up on Night Court for a surprise reunion with Melissa Rauch. Whether it's voice acting, thrillers, or emotional drama, Kunal has done what Raj never could, found his voice, and used it everywhere. But speaking of Melissa, the actress behind Bernadette didn't just steal the show. She wrote, produced, and powered her way into a whole new chapter of success. She may have been small in stature, but Bernadette came in like a hurricane, sharp, sassy, and terrifyingly efficient. And behind that famously high-pitched voice was Melissa Rauch, who turned a guest role into one of the most unforgettable characters on the show. But once The Big Bang Theory wrapped, Melissa didn't just sit back and ride the nostalgia wave. She hit the ground running, literally. First stop, The Bronze, a hilariously raunchy indie film that she co-wrote, produced, and starred in. It premiered at Sundance and proved she was way more than just the squeaky one. She didn't slow down. She lent her voice to Harley Quinn in an animated Batman film, published a children's book about tofu, yes, really, and became a passionate advocate for healthy living and storytelling that actually meant something. And in 2023, she made a huge return to primetime, this time as the lead in the Night Court reboot, playing Judge Abby Stone, the daughter of the original series character. The show became an instant hit, and when Kunal Nayyar made a surprise guest appearance in 2024, Fans lost it. A mini Big Bang reunion and proof that the cast chemistry never left. Off-screen, Melissa has been living her best life. She's married to Winston Beigel, her longtime writing partner, and together they're raising 2 kids, Sadie and Brooks, while continuing to build stories that make people laugh, think, and feel. But if you thought Bernadette's story was impressive, wait until you hear about Amy Farrah Fowler, because Mayim Bialik didn't just play a neuroscientist, she is one, and what she's done since the show will blow your mind. Let's be real, Amy Farrah Fowler wasn't just Sheldon's perfect match, she became the emotional core of the Big Bang Theory in its later seasons. But the woman behind the lab coat, Mayim Bialik, was already making history before she ever set foot on set. Unlike her character, Mayim didn't just play a neuroscientist, she earned a PhD in neuroscience from UCLA. So yeah, when she talked about brain chemistry on the show, that was all real. But after the Big Bang Theory ended, Mayim didn't just fade into academia, she launched into a whole new level of influence. She co-hosted Jeopardy, a gig that put her in front of millions of viewers every night and showed off her smarts in a totally new way. She also kicked off one of the most respected mental health podcasts out there, Mayim Bialik's Breakdown, where she dives deep into anxiety, trauma, relationships, and how our brains really work. And if that wasn't enough, she wrote parenting books, launched a thoughtful discussion platform called Grok Nation, directed her first feature film As They Made Us, and kept up a speaking schedule that would exhaust most full-time CEOs. Personally, Mayim's been through a lot. She split from her husband Michael Stone in 2013, but focused on raising their 2 sons, Miles Roosevelt and Frederick Heschel, with heart and intention. These days, she's not just a mom and a scientist, she's also found new love with her podcast co-host and creative partner Jonathan Cohen. Honestly, Mayim has somehow managed to become even more inspiring off-screen than she ever was in front of the camera. But if you think the spotlight faded for the show's supporting cast, think again. One unlikely fan favorite turned a quirky comic book clerk into a launchpad for serious drama and some major critical acclaim. He started as the awkward comic book store owner who always seemed just one step away from a breakdown, but over time, Stuart Bloom became one of the Big Bang Theory's most quietly beloved characters, and Kevin Sussman turned that soft-spoken sadness into pure gold. What's wild is that Kevin wasn't even supposed to be a main character. Stuart was a side plot, but fans loved him so much, and Kevin brought so much depth to the role that he ended up being woven into the show's emotional core. And after the final episode aired, Kevin did what few sitcom actors pull off. He completely reinvented himself. Post Big Bang, he's been everywhere, but in ways you probably didn't expect. He showed up in critically acclaimed dramas like Better Call Saul, The Dropout, and Lessons in Chemistry, and absolutely crushed it. No comedy, no quirk, just raw, nuanced performances that proved how much range he really has. It would have been easy for him to get typecast as Sad Stuart forever, but instead, Kevin's proven he's a serious actor with layers that most people didn't see coming. And the best part, he still kept that down-to-earth underdog vibe that made fans root for him from the beginning. While some actors chase the spotlight after a hit show, Kevin quietly leveled up, showing the world what real versatility looks like. From scientific geniuses to Hollywood heavyweights, low-key parents to podcast moguls, the Big Bang Theory cast didn't just survive the end of a mega sitcom, they thrived. Some took unexpected turns, others went quiet, but every single one of them proved there's life after Pasadena. And now the question is, whose transformation shocked you the most? Drop it in the comments, because one thing's for sure, this story isn't over yet.